Great. Well, thank you all so much for coming today. My name is Nikki Belmonte. I'm the Environmental Education Coordinator for the City of Roswell in the Environmental Public Works Department. And this week we are celebrating National Drinking Water Week. And as part of our efforts to keep in touch with the public and celebrate our water utility, we do want to talk about water conservation, which is a huge piece of being a great water steward. So today we're happy to offer a lunch and learn workshop with our water utility staff. I'd like to introduce Chris Boyd. He is our Roswell Water Utility Division Manager, and Patty Weathersby, who is not on camera. She's also part of the Roswell Water Utility. They will be doing a presentation and walking you through the AquaHawk water monitoring tool, which you have access to as a water utility customer. What we'll do is let Chris and Patty go through the presentation. And if you have any questions, you can type them into the chat box and we'll take a few minutes at the end to review those questions. And if you wouldn't mind staying mute, you're welcome to keep your camera off, and we are recording. So why don't I turn it over to Chris?
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on this for this presentation, this lunch and learn of AquaHawk, which is our customer portal, and it's a great conservation tool for our Roswell water customers. So are you gonna put up, there it is. Okay. So AquaHawk Alerting is a free service for our Roswell water customers to be able to receive leak alerts, monitor their own usage, and set thresholds for when they want to receive alerts. Just to kind of give a brief history, the customer portal actually gets information from our automated metering infrastructure, which is Census, which we installed. It was completely installed and up and running in August of 2011. In 2015, we partnered with AquaHawk to provide our customer portal for our Roswell customers to be able to monitor their usage and receive these leak alerts. Next slide, please. So right here is a map of Roswell. You might notice in the southwest corner, the area in white that's got a gold boundary. That is Roswell's water system. Those are our water customers within that area. The grayed out area is all Fulton County water customers. Roswell only serves about 20% of Roswell residents. The other 80% are on Fulton County water. Next slide. So what are the benefits of AquaHawk? Well, A, you can receive leak alerts and catch them quickly. You can monitor your usage and get an estimate of what your water bill will look like currently, as well as at the billing when we bill for your water. And it's just a means for conserving water. Next slide. So how do you get to AquaHawk? Well, you can go onto the city's website and type in AquaHawk in the search menu, and it'll bring you up to the page. And then there's a link on the page to the actual website where you can register for service. This is the link, if you want to write down the link or the URL address to the AquaHawk website for Roswell. So what we're going to do now is kind of go through how to register, and then we'll go into a live demo of the site so that you can see the benefits of it. So when you get into this page, and this is a screenshot of the page, you have the ability to sign in if you're already registered or register as a new user. So we're going to register as a new user. That'll pull up this screen where you'll put in your email address. You'll set your own password, first and last name as it appears on your water bill, as well as a phone number, and then the mailing address as it appears on your water bill. The last area is just how do you want to receive these alerts? Do you want an email? Do you want a text message? Is it going to your cell phone or your home phone or work phone as far as us calling you? Because it can do a robocall as well. Most people will either set it up as an email alert or a text alert. Then you're going to click register. So when you go to hit register, it's going to come up and want to know the account number, the account name, and the service address. And this all appears on your Roswell water utility bill. So your account number is the first 8 digits to the left of the hyphen that you would enter into this field. After the hyphen is the customer identification. So the account number is never going to change for a certain address, but the customer ID could change for people moving in and moving out, new owners. The account name as it appears on your water bill. So we'll say Chris Boyd. And then the service address as it appears on your water bill. So it could be 150 Dobbs Drive, but Drive is DR, or it's spelled out. It's however it appears on your water bill. We want to make sure that we're matching it up. And then city, Roswell, state, Georgia, and your zip code. Then you're going to click add. That's going to add the account. And that's going to bring you up to the page. And from right here, I'm going to go ahead into the live demonstration. And can everyone see my screen? Okay. So right here in this field is all of your billing information that comes out of our billing system for the city. Down here in this field, this is where if you've registered, how you want to be contacted, whether it's text or email or a phone call. It'll show the name of the registered user and how they want to be contacted. This middle field, top bar, is the billing period that we're currently in. Then you have an estimated bill as of today at 1 a.m. and it's $14.12. If the usage continues as it is, you have a projected bill by the end of the billing period of $26.26. This is just water and sewer. Your water use as of 5/4/21 at 1 a.m. was 1,023 gallons. And if we keep using the water at the same rate, the projected use is going to be 3,707 gallons. And it gives you the last meter read at 1 a.m. of 991,067. Down here is the bar graph. And right now I have it set up at a 72-hour. You can look at the last 365 days. 45 days, 30 days. But for the purpose of this and trying to figure out if you have a leak, you want to look at your hourly usage, whether it's 72-hour, 48, or 24. For us, we look at it at the 72-hour rate. We want to see if there's constant usage, basically water running through that meter every hour on the hour for a 72-hour period. And that's when we're going to reach out to the customer. That's typically when we would reach out to the customer, let them know, hey, you have a leak. With this system, you can set up when you want to be alerted. You can be alerted at 4 hours of constant usage, 8 hours, 24 hours. It's how you want to be alerted. So why is this important? You want to know when you have constant usage through the meter, possible leak or water's been left on running, so that you can identify where that's at and shut down that problem so that it's not going to increase your water bill once they come around to bill you. In the past, prior to the customer portal, and really before the AMI, we wouldn't know that a customer had a leak until they were billed. And at that time, we were billing bi-monthly. So every 60 days, you get your bill. Customer would call and say, hey, my bill's super high. Why is that? We'd come out and say, oh, well, you have a leak. And the customer would have to go in, fix the leak. And we've lost all that water over that time period. When the AMI got implemented, we set a policy to where we would monitor the system and notify a customer if they had constant usage of 20 gallons or more an hour for a 72-hour period. So again, you've got 3 days of 72 hours with constant usage of 20 plus gallons an hour running through that meter every hour that is not being used for anything other than running down the sewer or leaking in your yard, wherever the leak could be. So that's why we put out the customer portal, so that you can get notified within 4 hours of a possible leak that could be going on. Get it addressed quickly before it spikes up the dollar bill on your monthly bill. It also conserves the water to ensure that the water is being used the way it's intended. Cooking, cleaning, bathing, and not just running down the sewer drain, not being used. So the way to go in and look at set your thresholds is you go right here to my thresholds. It'll open up a window. So in this window, you have the ability to set a dollar amount threshold for what your bill is currently. If it's $20 you set there and your bill comes in at 21, you're going to receive an alert. You can also set it at a projected dollar amount. So if you know your average water bill is $30 a month, you could set that in for your projected. And if it goes to exceed that projected dollar amount, you're going to receive an alert. The same thing for water use alert threshold, which is looking at the gallons. So if you know that you use an average of 4,000 gallons a month, you can set that as your current or projected threshold to where once you hit that threshold, you're going to receive an alert if it's before the billing period is going to end. Or you can set your threshold for 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month for gallons. The area that we focus on is this last field down at the bottom. You're selecting a certain gallons per minute. We recommend 5, or not minute, hour. We recommend 5 gallons per hour. And then you can set, how many hours that's going on for. So we have it for 24 hours, 1 day. So if you have 5 gallons or more water running every hour on the hour for a 24-hour period, it's going to send you an alert. If you had it set for 4 hours, it's the same thing other than every hour on the hour for a 4-hour period, it sends you an alert. It's how the customer wants to be notified that they have something going on. A lot of times we'll go out to addresses where we'll see a large amount of water going through the meter. Could be a toilet leak leaking through the flapper, but we've also found where outside hose spigots have been left on. So we go and shut it off for the customer or let them know they had something going on, so that the water's not being wasted. Right over here in this field, these are all the notices that have gone out as a result of the leak. The last one being on 5/25 or 2/25 of this year, where they were exceeding their set threshold for a 24-hour period of 5 gallons per hour. They actually had a leak at this address and were able to find the leak and get it fixed. And they've had multiple alerts daily of what was going on. They just had trouble finding where the leak was at. If you have multiple properties, you can actually come in here and register those other accounts to where your one login, you'll be able to see all the different accounts or properties that you own within the one login. So, we have this at 150 Frank Lewis Drive, but if I were to put in 105 Frank Lewis Drive as another property I want to be able to see, I'm just switching between the meters to look at the consumption ranges going through it and getting alert or setting up for thresholds to get alerts for any possible leaks that could be going on. So that's really, in a nutshell, how the AquaHawk system works. As I said, we have it here for the last 72 hours. And you notice that, the last read was at 1 a.m., 200 gallons have gone through during that 3-day period. One of the other items I wanted to show you is from our analytics. So here's the same account, same meter number. This is from our AMI. And we got a last read on May 24th at 9 a.m. So there is a delay of roughly 6 to 9 hours from the reads that we're able to get through our AMI system before it gets posted into the AquaHawk. So if you ever have questions about, is this leak still going on and you want to find out right then and there, you can always reach out to Patty or myself. We can look at our AMI and see what the last read was and determine if a leak has stopped or if there's something still going on. And now I'm just going to stop sharing and you can bring the PowerPoint back up. Now we're into questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to let us know.
Hey, Chris, this is George. I was going to take my question, but it's a little bit of a long question. Um, I have a garden. I have a drip irrigation off of my hose bib, and if
Mhm.
I go on vacation and I see I sign up for AquaHawk and I see that maybe there's a leak, would I call you guys to come turn my water off if there's a water leak? How would that work if by chance that kind of fails while I'm
Yeah,
on
if
vacation?
you're on vacation out of town and you want us to go shut the water off, you can definitely reach out to either the finance department or my office. We'll go out and we'll shut the water off at the customer ball valve, which is located right at the meter. It's about 8 to 9 inches past the meter. We'll shut it off right there and flag it. That way, when you get home, you can come back and turn the water back on, and you're not having any type of leak. We also recommend that if you're going out of town for a long period of time, I'd go ahead and shut your water off just in case something were to break in the house. You don't want it to flood.
Yep. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Chris, I have a question. Do you read the meter at certain like time periods? Like, is it every 12 hours or is it that a standard thing or how does that work?
So the way our AMI works is our meters are recording hourly reads, both in the meter as well as in the radio transmitter. And then every 6 hours, so 4 times a day, the towers that we have placed out in the system call out to those radio transmitters and say, hey, send me your readings. So it's sending the 6 hour reads in, which are getting updated to the cloud into our AMI. So 4 times a day, the towers are calling out for reads. They are hourly reads. So we're getting about 6 hours every time this happens. And it's also staggered. So we're not calling out to all 5,000 plus meters, say, hey, send me your reads now at the same time. We could be doing a portion like at midnight, a portion at 2 a.m., and a portion at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. so that we're not having all this data being pulled up and trying to dump in at one time. It's a lot of data that's coming in through these radio transmitters.
Does Fulton County use this system?
No, they do not. Fulton County, I know that they're looking into AMI. The first thing is, I would say, to get an AMI system in place where you are able to get these hourly reads to make use of a customer portal for alerting. I know that they're piloting a company's AMI, and I just don't know when they'll come around to either implementing fully within the North Fulton area, or if they'll be doing it piecemeal, and if they'll even have a customer portal as part of that. That's something you'd have to reach out to the county on to see, do they have plans? I will say that in the updated 2017 Metro District Water Resources Plan, it is a requirement that utilities do a feasibility study for implementing AMI. So they're definitely having to look into it.
How much money do you think that this saves the city by having the AquaHawk in place?
Well, if I have a customer that's losing 100 gallons an hour down a toilet prior to the AMI being in place, and they 60 days later goes by, we've lost a ton of water down the system that we're having to produce extra water to make up that amount. Not only that, the customer's bill is going to skyrocket, especially with our 3-tiered rate structure. So for your first 5,000 gallons, you're at tier 1, which is $4.52 per 1,000 gallons. The next 5,000 gallons, 5,001 to 10,000 gallons, is charged at our tier 2 rate, which is $8 or $9.04 per 1,000 gallons. And anything over 10,000 gallons is going to get charged at the third tier rate. And that's just water prices. The sewer cost, I believe, is about $7.04 per 1,000 gallons. So you're getting charged sewer for all of that if you're on a sewer account. So with this AquaHawk, we've had customers come to us and find that they've been able to say, make sure their water bills don't get into that second tier or barely get into that second tier. If they hadn't had it, they could be easily in that third tier, and coming out of their pocket having to pay for it. Now, the city does have a leak adjustment policy where we'll pay based on the policy, the leak, the cause of the leak, where it's at, a percentage of the water bill will be credited as for the amount of the leak. So let's say your leak was for 3,000 gallons. It was running down your toilet. You had it fixed. You applied for the leak credit, and the city reviewed it, agreed that you deserve a credit. You would get 50% of that 3,000 gallons credited back for water and for sewer because it was just being wasted. If the leak were outside, you get 50% for the water and 100% for the sewer based on the leak policy. But again, that's something that the finance looks at and decides on a case-by-case basis. And have you had a leak adjustment already within the last 12 months? So they do have a cap on how many adjustments you can request.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, one more question. Where does like for the water lines, where does the customers, like where am I responsible and where are you responsible on my property? Where does that start and end?
That's a good question. So and typically this is for most utilities in Georgia. So the city or utilities responsibility starts with the service line where the tap is on the main and ends at the meter. And where the customer ties onto the meter and runs it to the house is their responsibility. So Roswell meters are a little bit different in that we lock our meter boxes to protect the meter and the electronics that are within it. But we provide a customer cutoff with like I was saying, was about 8 to 9 inches past the meter box with the T-handled ball valve. Where you tie into that T-handled ball valve starts the customer responsibility, and then it running to the house is all the customer's responsibility.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, fantastic. We appreciate everyone joining us today. This has been recorded and we'll be able to make this available. If you have any neighbors that would be interested in this information, just reach out to me and we'll get you hooked up with the information. So you've met Chris and you've met Patty. When you call over to the Roswell Water Utility, you'll probably speak with Patty about your needs. And you can find that phone number on our website. And again, I've dropped the direct link to AquaHawk right into the chat, so you can copy and paste that and go sign up right now if you'd like. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. And again, reach out to me if you have any further questions. All right, y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, I'll send you the recording when it's ready.
Sounds great. Thanks.